To all black pills who hate themselves for being unattractive and struggle to improve their looks, this video can help you get rid of a lot of psychological baggage and the knots that hinder your progress. But first, let me tell a story about myself and my depression. Since the second year of my university, I haven't been in any form of relationship for 4 years. Throughout my campus life and the year after graduation, I experienced multiple bouts of depression, at times severe enough to lead to suicidal thoughts. I despised myself, believing that to be worthy, I had to be 6 feet tall, have a chiseled jawline, six-pack abs, and an annual income of 6 figures. I had to maintain high value, never validate any woman, never show interest first, and walk, talk, and dress in a certain way. But in reality, I did not possess these traits. The more I chased this idea of a high-value man, the further I drifted from the outcome I desired. Seeing others effortlessly lose weight, become more attractive, and achieve success filled me with anxiety and self-loathing. I resented myself for being unable to resist junk food, for failing to match their progress. Watching others accumulate wealth in a short span only deepened my frustration, pushing me into cycles of self-criticism and emotional exhaustion. Over time, I became numb, living in a state of repression, self-denial, and unconscious existence. This depressive state lasted for 4 years. Eventually, my depression morphed into uncontrollable anger and suicidal urges, forcing me into a moment of awakening. I realized how I had been relentlessly destroying my body and soul, suppressing my emotions and needs for years. Amidst all the noises and external influences, I had missed the most crucial lesson of all: listening to my own feelings. The loneliness of men. Most men are intimately familiar with loneliness. In today's world, nearly all men who aren't wealthy or exceptionally good-looking spend their lives in isolation. Some grow angry, some grieve, but most remain silent. With every rejection and cold shoulder, with every meticulous calculation of income versus expense, we suppress our yearning for love. As living costs rise and women's increasingly growth of hypergamy, many of us fall into despair, and so we lie to ourselves. You don't need love. You don't deserve love. We endure lonely campus years, lonely youth, then transition into work and adulthood, constantly chased by bills, stuck in uninspiring jobs, navigating rising expenses. We begin to feel numb. Many, like me, internalize the belief that our appearance and circumstances make us unworthy of female attention, let alone love. Then, one day, we see someone we're attracted to. In that moment, we realize our own helplessness and inadequacy, and something inside us stirs. We awaken to the emotions we have buried for so long, and with that awakening comes anger. Anger at ourselves, at a world that hypersexualizes everything, at a society where class divides grow even wider. But I know this is not your fault. Men are never taught proper emotional education. We are never taught self-acceptance. Instead, we are conditioned to sacrifice, work tirelessly, and suppress our feelings. The burden of masculinity. As men, we are accustomed to repressing our emotions and conforming to societal expectations. The discourse surrounding masculinity is endless. Everyone wants to define what it means to be a real man. You must do this and that to be a high-value man. You must behave this way to be respected. But beneath all these labels, people forget one simple truth. We are human. We have emotions, preferences, dislikes, and personal aspirations. Yet, society's rigid definition of masculinity often shatters a young man's sense of self before it even fully develops. And the damage caused by such distortions can take years, even decades, to heal. It is undeniable that in today's world, a man's attractiveness influences his romantic prospects. But attractiveness has become a kind of original sin, something that defines a person's worth entirely. If you are unattractive, any interaction with a woman is seen as harassment. If you're attractive, the same interaction is considered flirting. This warped reality crushes the self-esteem of ordinary men, eroding their mental well-being. Yes, physical features and body fat percentage play a role in attraction, but living in the constant state of comparison and self-rejection robs you of the energy needed to actually improve your life. How many times do you check the mirror each day? Pinch your stomach fat, watch videos on how to look better. And after all that, what do you feel? Does it inspire you to grow, or does it only lead to deeper anxiety and self-hatred? Think back to every time you lost control and binged on food. What emotions triggered it? What led to another failed attempt at weight loss? The root of our pain. Why do we become depressed? Why do we consider suicide? Why do we lose hope? For the past 4 years, I lived these questions. As someone who has emerged from depression, I realize now that for 24 years, I lived as a false version of myself. My decisions were never truly mine. I was raised like a caged animal, never once engaging in an honest dialogue with myself. There was a time when I desperately craved intimacy. I would walk the streets every day, approaching strangers with rehearsed lines, mimicking the body language of so-called high-value men. But deep inside, I felt a profound shame, a painful detachment from my true self. The truth is simple. If your actions do not come from your authentic self, you will always be lost. Your body is a mirror of your soul. When you act against your genuine desires, your body will manifest resistance. This is why the harder I tried to diet, the worse my eating habits became. The more I forced self-discipline, the more I compulsively played games and stayed up late. It wasn't until I moved to a new city and due to financial struggles, had to live with my parents again, and the self-loathing reaches its peak. In the depth of that emotional turmoil, my false self could no longer sustain itself. It shattered, and in its place, something new began to grow. For the first time in my 24 years, I truly heard my inner voice. I want to live for myself. The real path to self-discipline. Most people struggle with discipline, whether it's about looking better, eating healthier, or sticking to a workout routine. They endlessly research fitness plans, skincare routines, and diet tips, thinking these will solve their problems. But no meal plan will work if you eat emotionally. No skincare product will fix the damage caused by chronic sleep deprivation. The path to self-discipline isn't about method. It's about psychology. The truth is, you don't need anyone's advice. Deep down, you already know what you need to do. The key is not forcing discipline, but fully trusting and accepting your body. Embracing your imperfections is the first step toward real change. Learning to love yourself. Throughout our lives, we suppress the voice within. We are told that ignoring emotions and doing what society expects is the essence of masculinity. But true masculinity isn't about becoming a machine. It's about living in alignment with your authentic self. Depression is not weakness. It is the body's way of crying for help, telling you that you are not living for yourself, that you are trapped in an identity imposed by family, social media, and friends. Real change, real self-discipline, and real confidence come not from punishing yourself, but from loving yourself. What does it mean to love yourself? It means respecting your inner voice, being grateful for your body, and refusing to hate yourself for being imperfect. From today onward, start to appreciate yourself. Thank your nose for giving you air. Thank your eyes for showing you the world. And thank your body for carrying you this far. When you truly love yourself, responsibility naturally follows. You will want to improve not because you hate yourself, but because you finally value yourself. And so, my friend, you may not be perfect, but you are still worthy of love.